Hello YouTube, welcome to the video. Today we are hanging out and I'm going to tell you a story about this black box and what it's doing in my life and where I'm sending it, because it's definitely mail and I'm not looking after it. But as you can probably tell by the title and or the thumbnail of the video, inside this black box is a Nikon D700. I picked this up at a thrift store and I want to share with you the story of how I found it, how I knew I could sell it, and then the process of me doing all that. So stay tuned. I'm sure if you're interested in this, you're going to have a lot of information that you might find valuable. So let's get into it. The Nikon D700. I know absolutely nothing about this camera, but that's okay. I know what the model is, and I know that I got this for an absolute steal. First thing I noticed while I was holding it and walking away from the thrift store was how heavy it is. Like this camera, I don't know what year this was made. I'll put it on the screen now, but this was the standard of camera that we used to use back then. This D700, this is a full frame DSLR. Look at all the buttons on it. I don't know what this is, a screen protector, but like, this is what we used to shoot on. This is cool. You can kind of close the viewfinder with this lever. Just a whole bunch of little switches and buttons and stuff like this. It looks so dated in terms of technology now. There's a CF card in there already. This came with the camera itself, which is pretty cool. Just goes back in there. It only uses CF cards. There's no space for an SD card. This button here opens up the flash, but the real kicker is this. There is no battery in this camera. And so we have two options: try and source a battery, try and sell it for hire, or just sell it for parts as is, which I will still make a profit on. I guess we'll find out later in the video which direction I decide to go down. But hopefully I can sell this and show you that you can make some money if you know what you're looking for at a Vinnie's or any other thrift store. So how did I come across this camera? Well, when I go to my thrift stores, and it's something that I've been doing for a long time, I know where to find some of the valuable items. They're normally kept in like glass cabinets or behind the counter. So when I'm going in there, typically I like to look straight away there because I don't want to mess around. I'm looking for something valuable. Saw this in the glass cabinet there, and it had a ticket on it for $150. However, when I walked into the store, I saw at the front of the store, it said 50% off all items with red tickets. And what do you know? The camera had a red ticket. So instead of $150, it was $75. Massive saving. So this perked my ears up and I got really interested in the camera. I asked if I could inspect it, and it really didn't have a lot going for it. It didn't have a battery. It's pretty scuffed up. I couldn't test it, XYZ. It was in pretty poor condition. And the big thing that I found out later down the track was the fact that this camera didn't have a mirror. So this thing was pretty much only going to be sold for parts. So I had to keep that in mind when I did my research on whether I could flip it. Now, when I find an object at a Vinnie's and or other thrift store, the way I find the value of an object is through eBay, because that is one of the biggest shopping platforms on earth. I go there, I find the model. In this case, it was quite easy because I just looked up Nikon D700. There are other ways that you can find proper search values for objects. But this was quite easy for me to find, Nikon D700. It's written right there in big white lettering. I popped that into eBay, found some listings, but the way you want to find out whether it's actually worth your time is to click filter, sold items, and then you look at two important pieces of information there: the price and the last 3 times the product, a similar product, has sold. In this case, this camera sells quite frequently. There were a couple of listings sold within the last month and even the last week in a very of different item conditions. What I needed to make sure was that I could sell this thing in a parts only condition, which is what I did, which is really cool. So seeing that parts only condition cameras of this quality, if you could even say that, sell for about $150 to $200, I was immediately thinking this will be an easy flip. I can definitely do this. So I went ahead and bought it. 75 bucks. I'm in it to win it now. Got to commit. You can't return stuff at thrift stores. So within the next 2 hours, I go and list this on eBay, put it up for $150, offers over 120, and then I just had to wait. So while we figuratively wait for this thing to sell, let's talk about how I figured out how to do all this sort of stuff. So it all started close to 10 years ago now. Me and my mate, shout out to you, Alexi, miss you, man. We used to go to thrift stores and flip books. So the reason why we used to flip books was because books at these thrift stores, they were all like $1 at most. And when you go on the eBay app, you can actually click the camera icon and scan barcodes. And we would essentially go to thrift stores together, look at the books, scan the barcodes, and just do this exact exercise so many times. We would see so many different books valued at different values. But when there's a book selling for $1, but can sell online for 30, that's easy money. Even with shipping and handling, you'll be making a profit off your $1. There's a good amount of work to put into it, but when you don't have much to do, when you're like a teenager, it's a good way to get a couple extra dollars if you have the ability to go to a thrift store and to post it, all that sort of stuff. The big thing with doing this as well was boosting your eBay seller rating. So my seller rating is actually quite strong because I made sure to package my things nicely. Post them on time, XYZ, and having a good seller rating means that future flips and future sales should be much easier because people will see your ratings and trust that you are a good seller. So we would do this with books, but we would find mugs, we would find bags, we would find shoes, all that sort of stuff, because people just throw this stuff into thrift stores and they need to move stuff along quickly, so they're going to be valued at a lower price. So this is very doable for you. This is very doable for me even. I'm doing it still. You can do this with pretty much anything if you know how to search it well on eBay, but there's new tools that are around. One of them I love to use now, since I'm on a Samsung phone. It's called Circle to Search. You can essentially find anything online purely by circling it on your screen, finding a value, and you'll be able to figure out what exactly you're looking at, and from there, plug it into eBay and do the exact same thing. Filter sold items, look at the price, look at the recent sales. It's so easy to do to find a value on any object in your house now. So if you can do this in a Vinnie's or find somewhere that is selling something for cheap, you can make some money, mate. So yes, I took it home, took my photos, listed it. Somebody came around to buy it, offered $120. I had listed it for $150. I counter offered $135 and bang, within 6 hours of it being listed, sold. So I'm gonna go post this off now. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do like a thrift video where I go to a thrift store and try and find something to flip. I think that'd be pretty fun to do. So yeah, let me know down in the comments. Hopefully you've taken away a thing or two for you to be able to try and do this yourself, and leave a like for Ruby because she's very cute. See you in the next video. Peace. Hi there. Just gonna post this guy. Beautiful. Thanks, mate.